Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a great summer. Been a little rough on my end. Had someone pass away in the family, and so that's why I've been posting. And but now a couple months gone by, and here the fall starting, and the year starting again for the kids, getting back in the routine. And I wanted to check in with you guys, and give me a lot of time to think about things, and when you go through something like that, I think it reaffirms a lot of things. Again, you suffer your way to wisdom, and when you have things happen in your life, you can either take it negatively and get yourself down and not move yourself forward, or you can take the lesson and move forward. And so I, obviously, being a glass half full guy, always want to take the positives and the lessons out of it. And it's also given me and reconfirm more energy for what I want to do with this channel, and the help that I want to provide. And I know the title is a little bit a clickbait, but there's a lot of truth to it. And I think, as I said in other videos, you hear a lot of hype online. A lot of people just want to make money off of you starting your business. That's what they want to do. I want to make sure that entrepreneurship, starting a business or buying a business, is the right thing for you, and not blow through your savings and get yourself in a lot of debt just to find out it's not what you want. You're not wired for it. It's a lot harder than you thought. And so spending time with me and really vetting out your idea, who you are, the alignment, because again, this channel and what I want to put together, and again, this is based on my own life, right? And any company, any startup, anything is always based around the founder, what they believe in. And for me, everything has to be aligned, right, to be a successful entrepreneur. So also what I want to talk about on the channel is also health and wellness. Years ago, I used to own a fitness gym that really opened my eyes. I was always a healthy person, but that really helped me really go down the rabbit holes of health and wellness. And that's not the video I want to make on today, but that's part I want to provide you guys, the whole roundedness. I think you need to be well-rounded. Being an entrepreneur is like being an athlete. You got to take care of the body and the mind and everything around it, or else it's not that you won't be successful, but the chance of you being a happy entrepreneur, that's the other thing, right? To be a happy entrepreneur, that a lot of people don't talk about it, is really difficult. I mean, it's a very tough environment, very, very, very tough environment. And for people who've never been exposed to that, yeah, it's hard to fathom. And again, some people get lucky, and unfortunately, that's why I'm doing this channel and everything I put together. In the media, they only focus on success stories. For every success story you hear in the news, there's thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs who folded, who didn't make it, lost their house, went through divorce. I mean, all that thing does happen. It doesn't have to happen, but it happens. It happens a lot. And so, and again, I'm not trying to discourage you. And again, the title, a little bit of clickbait, just to get you guys thinking. And about what I'm saying right now is, I want you guys to try your idea, because it's the best way to learn and to move forward. And even if it doesn't go anywhere, you're better off. You've learned something, and that's what life is about. It's about continual learning, and that's why I love being an entrepreneur. And all the businesses I've started and have successes and failures, over the last 25 years doing this, is the most valuable thing is lessons and growth. It's made me grow. It makes you realize more who you are, who you're not. And that's what I want to spend the time with you guys with. And the idea as well. But both have to be aligned. Or else you're just setting yourself up for more failure, right? It's like flying. As you guys know, I'm a pilot. And you want to have as much information, as much data before the airplane takes off, so you have a chance of making it back and increase your odds of having successful flight. And that's the same for life and for business and being an entrepreneur. And so before you go file the LLC and pay for the logo and pay for some course that's gonna just take money from you, oh, your idea is great, and they're not telling you about the back end, right? And they're just churning through you. And they know the odds of you making it, and they know all that, but they're just making money from you off of your excitement of wanting to be an entrepreneur. And again, that excitement is great, and you need to have that, and that's a good thing. But before you do any of that, and again, obviously I'm biased, you should spend time with me and really making sure that everything's aligned as well as it can be. Because at the end of the day, you got to take the plunge. You know, you guys heard me say this before. I got a good buddy of mine. You know, we kind of jab at each other. You know, he used to tell me all the time, said, Bryce, you're the type of guy that builds the airplane on the way down. You know, jumping off a cliff. I'm the guy that builds the airplane and then I jump off the cliff. And I've learned that there's a middle ground there, because at the end of the day, you've got to jump off the cliff, right, to start anything. You just got to take that first step. As much time as you can spend with me, and as much you spend time on your idea, at the end of the day, you got to go out and do it, right? But before, and again, I've learned this the hard way, because I was, you know, my first businesses, I was that young kid, young guy who just wanted to go do it. I just said, hey, I'm just going to plow through it and it's going to happen. And that's good, and you need that. But now I'm being an older and more mature entrepreneur. I think through more before starting, right? And so I want to make sure it's aligned with who I am, with things I believe in, and study the market more, and make sure that the odds are more in my favor, right? Or what's the likelihood of this business actually getting traction? You know, what are the keywords cost, or what are the clicks, you know, to advertising? What was it cost? You know, am I able to get traction? Because to rely on just viraling out, or you're telling your friend, and then all of a sudden you're gonna get all these customers, you're gonna tell other people. I mean, that's part of the equation, but that's not gonna get the business moving, right? You gotta be able to pay for advertisements. You gotta be able to get traction, and getting traction is really hard. So, you know, all these things, and is it again aligned with who I am? And so, entrepreneurship is hard. It's doable. You know, it's got to be your life's mission, right? Because being an entrepreneur, the thing that you want to do, the reason why you're doing that is because you can't do it anywhere else, right? So me putting this channel together, it's also me not seeing this content out there, and I'm getting frustrated now. You know, being a father of now 3 young kids. I don't know if I shared with the channel, but I was blessed to have a healthy 3rd child. She's now 7 months old, and it's really made me realize that you know, not only the shortage of time, but that I want to share the knowledge that I want to share that I haven't seen out there, where people are just, I call it the pump and dump. You know, you've heard that before. We just want to get you going, get you buying their thing, and then they just dump you on the back end, and you're not well grounded. You don't have all the resources at your disposal. You haven't studied the whole picture. You know, they haven't worked on your you know, on your person, and the wellness, and the mindfulness, and who you are, and is this business really aligned? You should start with that first, again, before you go file out the LLCs, or, you know. And I've done these, you know, as a first-time entrepreneur years ago, you know, 20 years ago when I first started, I did all these things. You know, I got completely enamored with my idea, and I was all geeked out about the name, all concerned about the name, and filing the LLC. And I probably spent at that time, you know, you couldn't, Upwork was then Elance, and, you know, you're paying a lot more. I mean, even for a logo, you're paying, you know, a couple $100. LLC, you know, was $1,000, you know, a couple other things, and only the time. But you spent 6 months spending a couple grand and haven't done anything. Not even know anything much about the business. Just completely enamored with the idea, the logo, getting it right, getting the right coloring, and the right name, and there's a place for that, obviously. But before you do all that, you want to do work. You want to do work on making sure that what you're about to take on is aligned with who you are, and it's the long term, right? Not the short term. That's the other thing. When I was young, didn't have any money, it was definitely more short term minded, where I think I'd have been better off if somebody had spent time with me to be more playing the long game, right? Not the short game. And that's another thing I want to help with you guys, is really play the long game, because you should not think to sell. You should not get into business or start this idea to want to exit. Right? I mean, this is not the channel for you. That's the case. You know, for a business to be successful, it has to be aligned with who you are and what the word passion is strong, but what you have a strong interest in, right? Because that's what's going to carry you through. And And if you're really interested in that idea, in that industry you're working on, it's a 30-year thing, right? You're not. Plus, it takes a while to get up to speed. So you can make all that investment into something that you're supposedly going to exit out, that you're really not passionate about, but you just see the opportunity. You know, AI, whatever it is. You saw in the news this big opportunity. You personally haven't done the work to really find out if that's something that you're geared up to do, or if you even like it. But that's just where the money is, right? That's where the money is. Short term, that's where the money is. Let me just crank through it, and I want to exit. That's your mindset. I would not recommend that mindset, right? I want to spend time, and I want to teach you to have more of a long-term mindset. Is this an industry I'm truly interested in, right? Is this something I could see myself doing for 30 years? Because time definitely goes by. Now I sound like the old guy, but being in my mid 40s and being a lifelong entrepreneur and looking back, yeah, it definitely went by. It wasn't overnight, but it definitely went by. And so, having had more the long-term mindset, when I was in my early 20s or even my late teens, I think would have served me better today. Again, I don't regret anything. I'm thankful for everything. I wouldn't change anything. I really wouldn't, because people say that, well, I wish I hadn't done that. Well, you learn from your failures. You learn a lot less from your successes than from your failures. Because when you win, when your successes, you can kind of pinpoint, what made you win. But when you fail, again, failure, quote unquote, you really know why it didn't work, and you learn a lot more from it. So anyways, I'm trying to keep these videos, not too long, and I'm going to be uploading more of them. You can see they're unedited. It's just, I'm doing this, in my free time in between everything that I've got going on, and it's just to get you guys thinking. As you guys know, I don't have to tell you, like, subscribe. That helps get the conversation going. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Right now, I think this is like my 30th video, and I've got 1 subscriber. And so you can see, right, the time and the traction it takes. So obviously right now, don't have a lot of folks on for the conversation, but that will grow. That will take time, and that will grow. And as I start to get to hopefully some traction around this message and people interested in this, I'll start to put together some webinars and start to build a community, and we'll put together some masterminds. And again, one day when we put our masterminds together and we all get together, obviously there'll be a lot of business, right? A lot of business conversation, but as much conversation will be on the health and wellness, right? There's things that I've worked on, and there's Mother Nature's ingredients that can help you perform better, that are completely natural. I mean, there's so many things that help you be more well-rounded that you need to have just as a human. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, these are great tools, but as a human, to function better, you need to have that in your life. So, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and look forward to having the conversation with you. Have a great day.